friends, ignore the steering wheel. This is the best angle I could get you at. I just pulled up to a birth center, which is where I'm going to get care for gynecology. So I'm here for my annual checkup, just getting a pap smear and making sure that everything is good because I have cervical dysplasia. I don't think that I've talked about this. I think in one of my pregnancy videos I did mention this, and I kind of have put it under the rug, or at least I haven't thought about it a whole lot because it stresses me out. Oh my gosh, it's so bright, it's making my eyes water. Anyone else have really light eyes and their eyes are just so sensitive like all the time? I waited way too long to get annual PAPs and I fully regret that. I found out that I had cervical dysplasia while I was pregnant, so that was like a whole lot to take on. So basically there's levels to it. I think I need to look into it more, which I should know this, but like I said, I've kind of been in denial a little bit, or like not wanting to know too much because it scares me. There's levels to it, so I think that there is SIN 1, SIN 2, SIN 3, SIN 4. And I think 3 and 4, obviously it's like a more progressive state and it's like not good and can lead to cervical cancer. So I had a PAP when I first got pregnant, and then I switched doctors, they did another one, and then I switched doctors again and went to a midwife and they did one there. A couple months postpartum, I had a colpo, which is like a colposcopy, not a colonoscopy, but a colposcopy, whatever it's called, where basically they go in, get some cells, it's like a biopsy of some of your abnormal cells, and they test it at the lab to make sure it's not cancerous. So last time I went, I was in the clear. They said it's super low grade. Yeah, so they said just you have to come every single year and just make sure, because it can go from like nothing to like an aggressive state very quickly. So 6 months to a year is when I need to like keep getting them checked. But I'm at the birth center to do this because my midwifery closed down because the hospital I gave birth at closed down. So their practice just closed down anyway. The owner was like really old and I think it was kind of time anyway. So it all closed down. So I'm like, I don't have a doctor or a midwife or anything. I would like to have our next baby at the birth center, and then if I like need interventions or whatever, I just get transferred to a hospital. I've heard so many good things about this place and I really would like to try to do a natural birth next time around. If you guys know, you know. That did not happen with Sage, and I will meet the midwives and just kind of scope out the place. I don't know how it's gonna work financially because they don't take my insurance, so I have to pay out of pocket this appointment. So if it's gonna be ridiculous to like have a baby here and they don't take my insurance, then it's probably not gonna happen. I'd rather have like a home birth at that point. The birth center to me feels like that in between of like a hospital and home. It's like the nice in-between state, I feel like. This can be a whole conversation for another time. I'm here about to go get my PAP and I'm really not looking forward to it. I feel like I'm still holding on to some trauma with what I went through having Sage. So like having to have someone go up in there and do things, I feel like it's making me like feel a lot of different kind of ways, and I'm like, I don't want to, but I know I need to for my health. Anyway, so let's see how this goes. Okay, that was a really cool experience. Not the pap smear, that was just kind of standard, you know? When I was checking out, my friend was working the front desk. I haven't seen her in years. We used to work together. I was like, what? Hello? So we got to talk, and then she was like, let me give you a tour. So I got to see the birthing rooms. We just talked more about like my previous birth, the whole space, and like how it all works. And it was so cool. And I feel like maybe the stars are aligning to where this is where I'm supposed to go next, if it all works out like financially and with insurance and all that kind of stuff. But that was really fun. And I'm like so glad I got to see her. And I was with 2 midwives. One was training. They were both really great. And I felt comfortable and, you know, all the things. So yeah, we'll see what happens. My neighbor gave birth here and she had a great experience, and she kind of had a similar experience like I did the first go round, and then had her second baby here. And then also I was looking at my old lab work and old notes and stuff from my other midwife and doctors, and just like lab results, I guess, as I was talking to the midwife and just like going through my chart and everything. And I was like, okay, with the whole dysplasia stuff, I don't know which category I fall into within the dysplasia. She was explaining it, and then she's like, oh, there's something before SIN 1, which is the access or it's something like that. And she's like, and that's like the very lowest grade, and that's like not even into the SIN numbers. And I am that one. So I'm like the very, very lowest, most mild version of it. At least I was. So that's why we did the thing we did today to check. So I'm hoping that the results from this one come back the same. Like there's nothing there, you know? So that was really encouraging and gave me more information. And of course, I'm going to take all this information and just dive more into like holistic ways to help treat it and all that kind of stuff. Apparently this vlog's in my car. You know what I just did? I went and just got food at Slutty Vegan. Someone's bumping. Hold on. I ate this massive vegan burger and fries and lemonade, and I meant to film it. And then I started doing TikTok and totally forgot. So I ate the whole thing. I have some fries left. This is me eating lunch. So good. It's unreal. It's the best vegan burgers literally ever. It tastes like a real burger. It's so good. Anyway, it was close to where I was, so I'm like, I'm gonna go ahead and get it. I have some for Clark, so I need to get it home to him before it gets all soggy and whatnot. I am sitting here editing the vlog you are watching right now. I'm editing like the first part of it. It's a few days later from last time that I talked to you. And I just had family in town for the weekend, which was really fun. My cousins came to stay for a few days, so I just took some time off. I kind of figured that we would make this vlog just kind of some health updates. Since we talked about the dysplasia and I got my pap smear and all that stuff, I figured I would update you guys about my last visit with my functional medicine doctor, which is my primary doctor now, because I did not have one until very recently. I went 3 months ago and got my blood work done to kind of see what's going on because we want to fix my migraines. I've talked about migraines a lot, and I've started to make more videos about it and talk about it more. It's definitely been a journey, so I really want to kind of talk about it as I'm going through it. I've seen a handful of doctors over the years, and this one specifically I've been seeing only for a handful of months. It's the same place that Sage goes for pediatric care, so it's just convenient for us to go there. I like them, so I think I'm gonna stick with them. Kind of the main summary of my migraines is I've had them since I was really young. I think it started right when I started my period. I was 14 years old. So I've had migraines for a really, really, really long time. And they went away during my early 20s for probably 3.5 years. I lost my period. I was over exercising. I was under eating. I was a ball of stress. I was not conscious of ingredients. I jacked up my hormones a lot by using products that were endocrine disruptors, all the fragrance, all the toxic stuff that's in a lot of our products. So I used that for years and years and years, even growing up with all that stuff. The Bath and Body Works that I slathered all over my body. So I think it's a handful of reasons, but it's definitely a hormonal thing that happens with me. So every single time I start my period, I get a migraine, whether it's the day before, the day of, or during my period, I get a migraine. Sometimes I'll get one, sometimes I'll get a handful of them during it, and then sometimes even like when I'm ovulating, I'll get one too. So I get probably like around 2 or 3 a month. That's kind of like a normal month for me. And I want them gone. So what we've determined over the years is that it's hormonal. I've had blood work done a couple other times, and something that's been consistent is my really low cholesterol. I've been plant-based for 10 years, so a lot of people think that's linked. I'll get into this more. It's not, because I've been having the same issue well before I went plant-based, and going plant-based is the thing that made me start my period in my early 20s. It was gone for 3.5 years. I went plant-based and started eating in abundance, eating the right things, and just really nurturing and nourishing my body, and I started my period, and I've had it ever since. Not that it's regular, but we're working on it. So there's a handful of things that go into this, so that's kind of just the summary. So let's talk about the latest visit to the doctor. 3 months ago, I went and had some blood work done, and a few things popped up, and then I went just last month, which was 3 months from the last time that I got it, if that makes sense. And we wanted to see how they compared. The summary from that visit is that my cholesterol is still really, really, really low. My iodine is a little bit low, and my DHEA, I think that number is really, really high. I think it's either really low or really high, and that's hormonal. And all those combined have made my thyroid a little bit off. The numbers are still in like the good range, but it's on the end of being like not in a good range. So all of those things are linked and related to each other. So the doctor really feels confident that what's showing up on my blood work is the reason for my migraines, which is exactly what I've been needing to know for so many years. And she feels extremely confident that she knows how to fix them. So what she has me doing right now is taking all the supplements that I have been taking as far as like the medical medium protocol. I've kind of put some stuff together from what I've researched from his stuff. So I'm taking a lot of herbs and supplements. She has approved them. And then a couple other things that we're adding is 2 Brazil nuts a day, which I actually have been doing that. That's for selenium and to help thyroid. She wants me to do more iodine. So I've just been upping my dulse and seaweed that has iodine in it. I don't want to take a supplement for that right now. I just want to do it through food. She wants me to up my ashwagandha, which I've been doing. And then she gave me a DHEA capsule to help those levels balance out. And then one of the main things is upping my fats. And since I have been upping my fats lately and my numbers are still low, she's thinking I'm not digesting and absorbing all of the fat I'm doing. So in order to optimize digestion with that, I'm taking a digestive enzyme every time that I eat. And I'm trying to have fat with every single meal. And I've seen a few, I think 3 different doctors within the same practice, and they've all said healthy fats and upping up those fats are going to be the way to build the cholesterol, not eating animal products. I know so many people are like, well, if you just eat animal products, your cholesterol will go up. Yeah, it will because the fat in the animals, but they all said, all of them, I didn't even ask, but they told me this. They're like, you do it through fat and that's how you build it up. So there's no issue with you eating plant-based, which is really encouraging because I honestly didn't know which way that was going to go. So since I don't want to do any kind of hormone replacement therapy or whatever right now, I really want to do this as slowly and naturally as possible and hoping that it all kind of works out rather than having to do that, but I'm not completely opposed to it. So she gave me this herb capsule thing called Vitex, and she said this will help with my progesterone, which she thinks is the reason for kind of all this going on. Since I didn't have migraines when I was pregnant, and since I didn't have migraines those several years that my period was gone, and because I get them every time my period starts, she's like, that to me seems like progesterone. The Vitex is supposed to help the progesterone. She said, however, you are still breastfeeding and it easily could dry up your supply. That's like a common thing that happens with it. She said it could not, and you could be completely fine, but if you're not ready to be done, then she's like, I would hate for you to be mad at me because I told you to take this and then your milk supply dries up. I am going to hold off on that because we're not done with that yet. Maybe when Sage is like 18 months, I can take it, and that will maybe be the way that we slowly wean, but I kind of want to go a little bit longer than that. So I don't know. I have that on hand in case I want to start taking it. I'm hoping that would help, but I'm also like, I still want to breastfeed my baby. I'm waiting on that. So just doing a lot of the fats, upping the things I just said, taking the digestive enzyme, and then eventually if I do take the Vitex and that doesn't work, then we would go to a hormonal cream that I would put on to help my levels balance out. And that's kind of the replacement therapy stuff. So anyway, that's kind of the update with my migraines and everything. I'm supposed to start my period like any moment now, and I have not had one, knock on freaking wood. So I'm really trying to have a handle on it before I start so I don't get one. So the only thing that really concerns me about having a lot of fats is my liver. I'm breaking out really bad right now, and I've had honestly really good skin during pregnancy and postpartum. Beginning of my pregnancy, I broke out a lot when I first was pregnant, but my skin has been honestly like really good, and I have not had like a pimple on my skin until like recently, which has been amazing. But right now my skin is just kind of freaking out, and guys, listen, I know it could be so much worse. I totally understand that, but for me right now, I know that this is showing up for a reason. It's something that's off. So anyway, I'm just like breaking out, and it hurts. A lot of it's like under my skin, and it just like hurts really bad. So I'm thinking liver related, because when you have a ton of fat, your liver can get overburdened very easily, and your liver is what is filtering everything. So what shows up on your face is a really great indicator of what's going on in your body, and that's linked with liver stuff. So I'm like, okay, I need to up my fats because I want to build my cholesterol to a really great number, but then I also want my liver to be able to process all the fat properly and detoxify as it needs to. From all the research I've done, everything I've studied, the classes I've taken, I'm just afraid that it is related to my liver. I'm doing milk thistle and all the things to can continually detox. I should probably do some dandelion. I need to make sure I can do that while I'm breastfeeding. So just a note, anytime there's stuff showing up on your skin, I really do believe everything starts from the inside out. So maybe something topically could be clogging your pores and making breakout. But honestly, that's the more rare thing, and I think our society focuses on that a lot, about skincare and what we're putting on our skin and all these things you have to do, when most of the time it's really what's happening from the inside out. Your body is trying to tell you something. So something's going on, but I'm just going to keep on doing what I'm doing, try to be really consistent with it, and hope that everything kind of just balances out and I get these migraines to go away, because you know, if you get them, they're awful. They're awful, and I cannot deal with it anymore. Migraine to me is my body screaming and telling me something. It's a symptom that something else is going on. It's not for no reason. I'm determined to fix them, whether it's taken me how many years or not. I'm gonna freaking figure it out. Migraines are so weird because there can be so many reasons for them, but I feel really good that I've finally gotten answers and I've been more clear more than ever as to why I'm getting them and how to solve the problem. So that makes me feel really, really good. Just got lab results. All right, let's see how this goes. Okay, I literally just got my lab results from the birth center for my PAP. Let's see what's going on. Do I even know how to read this? It says HPV negative, which I've had positive before. So I thought that once it's positive, it's always positive, which the midwife told me that 85% of women who have had, you know what, have it. So that made me feel better about myself, but this says negative, so I don't understand that. It's negative for intra something lesion. Sounds like it's a good thing. Cellular changes associated with inflammation are present. I don't know what that means. Metaplastic cells are present. I looked that up. Endocervical cells present simply means that your doctor sampled cells from the inside of your cervix during a pap smear. The phrase quamis metaplastic cells present means that the pathologist who examined your pap smear found cells were growing and repairing themselves regularly, which sounds like a good thing. Okay, that says it's a non-cancerous change in the cells that make up the tissue lining or organs or glands. This condition does not increase cancer risk. Okay, I feel like that's a good thing. I feel like we're all good. I feel good about that. Okay, all right, girlies, I think we're good. I think we're good.